This is the X1 experimental sky cycle, Evel Knievel's experimental vehicle that didn't make it across the Snake River Canyon. I'm here with him tonight at the canyon. We're going to talk about the X2, which on September 8th hopefully will make it. My other guests tonight on Goodnight America include Bill Withers, Seals and Crofts, and Kurt Vonnegut Jr., as well as a special report on the high cost of prescription drugs. That right after this. Evel Knievel's the consummate showman, and he's parlayed his unique ability to jump a motorcycle over almost anything into what's shaping up as the single biggest payday in the long, long history of sports and spectacles. It's the multi-million-dollar attempt to rocket a steam-powered sky cycle over the mile-wide Snake River Canyon. This is a profile of the man and his machine. Take a look at it. Perhaps the accessories that best define Evel's personal flamboyance are his fat diamond rings and trademark walking stick. And what's in that?
It's just a cane. It's a motorcycle on it in diamonds. Can you see it? See it? And I say I don't drink very much. I don't. But I've always felt that a good shot of booze a day keeps the doctor away, so...
Robert Knievel, nicknamed Evel when he was 15 years old and racing motorcycles, started stunting with them while still a teenager. Now 36, he's jumped his motorcycle over parked cars, stacked barrels, trucks, rattlesnakes, and even caged mountain lions. He's made close to 300 jumps in all, most of them landing on his wheels, but on at least 15 occasions landing on his head or his back or his side with the bike on top of him. His longest jump prior to Snake River was at Caesar's Palace, 50 feet up, 150 feet across. He almost made it, but the landing was bad. He couldn't hold on and kept smashing over and over and over, lucky to get out of it with just a concussion, a broken hip, and pelvis. The jump across the canyon will be about 5,000 feet further than the ill-fated jump at Caesar's Palace.
I'm in at $1 million, including the cost of the sky cycles. $1 million.
With an investment of $1 million, Evel, the consummate businessman, had to make sure of his return. The insurance came in the form of a $6 million advance from the company that will close-circuit the jump around the world. $6 million against an anticipated return that Evel says will net him around $30 million in all. That's a lot of money, but wait a second before you decide if it's too much. From the landward side, the launch site for Knievel's canyon-jumping sky cycle looks just like a huge heap of dirt. The only clue to its unusual purpose is the swarm of people waiting around for a glimpse of the man who, through a combination of guts, daring, showmanship, and a carnival barker personality, has become a genuine Americana folk hero.
Oh, he's cool.
You think he's going to make it?
Yeah, I don't know, he might.
I think it's a pretty sure thing, really.
We're with him.
Walking up the 22-degree incline that'll form the base of his launch ramp, the feeling of anticipation builds, but doesn't really prepare you for the scene that greets you at the top. There, the idea that seemed at least remotely possible down at the bottom becomes ominous, and if not impossible, then at least terribly improbable.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, it looks a lot further than I thought a mile would look.
Well, it's only about a half a mile across the canyon. But I'm going to land way over there by those power poles, or else over there by that freeway. Way, way, way over.
How do you feel about this place now?
Oh, you know, I could have gone down and drove across the bridge for nothing. I don't know. I can do it. I'll make it all right without any problem.
How deep is it?
Well, some spots it's way over 1,000, and then in some spots it's somewhere between 6,000 and 1,000.
How will your ramp differ from this ramp here? This looks pretty steep. We had, it's a steep walk up.
The ramp is steep, but it's going to be 4 times as steep as it is right now.
That'll almost be straight up and down.
That's right. 56 degrees it'll set. The takeoff will be just like this. And I'll look just straight up into the sky when I get ready to go.
Well, what about the G-forces? I mean, when you start something that's going to be going 350 miles an hour, aren't you going to be knocked out almost?
Yes. The G-force will be from 0 to 200 miles an hour, and then to 350, I'll take about 7.5 Gs. And I'll be 2,000 feet up. That's how high I'll go. Then a little parachute opens on that sky cycle. A little parachute. I'll wake up, see the other side of the ground way over there, wherever the hell I'm at, and I'll pull a ripcord and open a parachute behind that sky cycle.
Are you saying that you're going to be unconscious when you're up in the air?
To 2,000 feet, I probably will be, yes.
So that means you have to regain your consciousness.
That's right, but I can do that. I'll do it. Then, when I open the ripcord on the main parachute system, the vehicle, the nose of it will point down, and then I'll take my leg and I'll take a rod and kick it right out of the front end. It'll slide right out of the front end of the sky cycle out of an oil tube. And what that does, when that sky cycle hits somewhere over there, over a mile on the other side of that canyon, when it hits nose first, this rod slides back into the nose. It acts as a shock absorber. So with the parachute hanging out and the rod acting as a shock absorber and I'm strapped in it, I'm going to be okay.
There were actually 3 of the steam-powered sky cycles built. The original, called the X1, was tested without a pilot about 3 weeks ago. It ended up at the bottom of the canyon.
What do you figure the odds are if you were figuring them objectively?
100% in my favor. I used to say 50-50. I'm not even saying that anymore. 100% in my favor.
Even after what happened to the X1 when it went down there?
Well, that was a test shot. It was the first one. It was a calculated risk. We made some mistakes. If I'd have been in it, I'd have ended up dead, but I don't think that's going to happen on this X2 shot. I'll tell you what, I got an idea, Geraldo. We got a motorcycle here. Why don't you get your helmet on and ride up and down the takeoff ramp a couple of times? You get a good feeling.
Okay, you're wrong, but I'm not going off it.
Okay.
I was nervous just getting ready to ride the little Harley up the dirt ramp, and that's about 1/5000th of the trip that Knievel will be making in September.
We got a mile to go yet. What are you doing?
Oh, I tell you, when you
Well, you hit the brakes quick.
I sure did. I said to myself, this ramp is ending. You must have extraordinary amount of courage. I'm telling you, it's
Listen, I may have less brains than the average guy, but whatever I got is working for me.
boy, you start up the ramp and everything starts going by faster and faster, and you start to imagine what it must be like when you get to the lip of the ramp and you leave the ground behind you and you have another mile to travel. It's a little far.
You have to do several things on takeoff so that you can take care of what's coming. Before you go, maybe make your peace with God Almighty and then pay attention to what you're doing. Realize the fact that you have to be the best in the world at what you're doing and pay attention to business, because if you're just going up not doing that, if you're not paying attention, and you're going up praying and not doing what you got to do, you could end up dead. And if you have to pray to get to heaven in 108 feet in less than 3 seconds, if you didn't do it before you took off, the 108 feet in the 3 seconds isn't going to help anyway.
Just not enough time.
Do me a favor. If I make it the first one, I come back and get you for the second one.
The X1 was fished out of the river a couple of days ago by the owner of a local trout hatchery. From what's left of it, you can see that it bears little resemblance to a traditional motorcycle. It's a steam-powered rocket, and once it's ignited, Evel has no control over it. The sky cycle rockets off the ramp with him hanging on. He can't even steer it. 2 of Evel's 3 children were with him at the Snake River, sons Kelly and Robbie.
What about the family, Evel? I mean, I'm sure that there must be nights where you stay awake and look at the ceiling and think about what about the boys and your little girl? Your wife?
I would think that, needless to say, the night before the canyon jump will probably be one of the toughest nights of my life, and for them. But they seem to have a lot of faith in what I do, and September the 8th will come and go, and September the 9th will be the first day of the rest of my life. So, you know, we're all in agreement that I will do this thing and come out of it alive, and also we all seem to think in the lines that I think, that I've raised my children to think, that dying is a part of living, and that if Daddy loses his life, he's just going somewhere quicker, or they're going to go someday, and I'll be waiting for them. That's part of life.
Will he make it? Well, you know as much as I do now. You decide. Evel's latest boast, maybe his last boast, if it looks like he's going to smash into that canyon wall, he's going to spit at it on his way down.
Well, if you come up here and you're standing right here when I go off of the jump, you do me a favor, you blow like hell. I'll see you.
with the Goodnight America band playing the strains of The Impossible Dream in the background. I tell you something, at only 25 or $30 million, he's getting robbed. And Evel, my friend, if you're watching, happy landings. Bill Withers, we lean on him in 1 minute.